Okay, so away we go. It's been a long day. I've been struggling a little bit. Y'all had a good day? Better than me? Alright, number one, I'm gonna, those of y'all that have had me for 7 years in a row now, the front right up there, know that you haven't had me 7 years, they've had me more years than you in a row, Cole. Know that I sometimes like to eliminate choices and teach just shortcuts that might, save you some time on the ACT and that kind of stuff. So when I look at number one, I see a negative divided by a negative. And I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I'm already down to a 50-50 answer, right? It's got to be B or C because those are the only two that are positives. Okay? Now, decimals confuse some people, but I know what 8 divided by 4 is. It's not 32, so C's dumb, right?
Yep.
So it'd have to be B on that. Very good. Everybody all right? All right, now on number 2. This one was a little bit trickier. Number 2 says list all the elements of the set that are of the indicated type. The indicated type is real numbers. Now we had a chart that I gave you on like the second day of school. It had all this over here. Remember this? Did all that. That was all of our rational. And then over here on the right side, it had our irrational. And then all of that was considered real. So we're looking for anything that is a real number on this. Okay? If I go through those, 19, is that a real number? Yeah.
Yes.
So 19 is going to be my answer. Square root of 5. Is that a real number?
Yes.
Yes. It's irrational. But irrational is still a real number. So square root of 5 has got to be in my choice. There's only one that has it.
B.
Has to be B. Now the weird thing about that is the negative 5 over 0. Obviously negative 5 over 0 is not part of B, so it's not a real number. What is negative 5 over 0? What do we call that?
Imaginary.
Not imaginary.
Undefined.
Undefined. Good, Mr. Cross. That would be undefined. Ah, and by the way, that chart is in your classroom. If you've lost that, you need to look at it. Number 3, it asks me to do negative 1/3 squared. It's all about where the negative is. If it's in the parentheses or out. In the parentheses means I take negative 1/3 twice, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So I'd be looking for positive 1/9 on that. Y'all tell me at any time if I'm going too fast because sometimes when stuff is simple like this, I tend to even put the pedal to the metal even more. So let me know if I need to slow you down. Number 4, just make sure that you understand what those bars mean. That's the symbol for absolute value. Absolute value is the distance I am from 0 on a number line. So negative 18.7 would be how far away from 0? 18.7. Alright, number 5, I blew first period's mind when I told them how I did number 5. You could type that in your calculator and get the exact answer, and there's not a thing in the world wrong with that. Okay, so don't think that I'm telling you not to do that. But what I did is I looked at it and I see a positive times a positive times a negative. I know that's got to be a negative. Okay, so it's got to be either A or C. Look at the difference in the numbers on A and C. 823 or 98. Okay, look at the numbers that you're multiplying. I got almost 9, close to 9, times close to 1, times close to 8. Well, 9 times 8 is 72. So it can't be the 823 answer, can it? That's silly. So it would have to be C. Is that what you got when you did it on your calculator? Good deal. Good deal.
On number 4, why was it positive?
Absolute value is always positive. Remember that? Distance is, you can't measure a negative 4 feet.
Okay, go back.
Well, you can, but it's still going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Alright, I got order of operations on number 6, and I knew it wasn't 0 because there's no times 0 in there on that. But other than that, I couldn't really think of a short way to do number 6, so I did just use the order of operations and do it that way. It's got 15 plus 27 times 28 minus 28. So that first thing in the parentheses, that got me a big number. So I knew, well, I guess I didn't know it couldn't be B also, because that's way bigger than 42. So what is 27 times 28? Tell me the 20, say it again. Oh, tell me what 27 times 28. 733. No, you're ahead of me.
Oh.
What's 27 times 28? Thank you. You were just ahead of me. You're all right, Kaylee. And now I would work left to right doing my addition and subtraction, and Kaylee is correct. That would end up getting us 743. Well, I was breaking that one down, and Kaylee already had the answer, and it was not. We weren't working together well. That'd be the preschool teacher sitting home, no, doesn't play well with others.
It doesn't take that much to get you going around.
All right, number 7.
Yep, I had to come.
On 7, got a number line. I noticed there it says, if you read the problem, it says the set of all numbers x such that x is such that 0 is less than x less than equal to 3. So my number line, I gotta have a 0 and a 3, and the x is between those. So I'm going to be shaded between them. Okay, on the 0, it only has a less than sign. Does less than get a parentheses or a bracket? Parentheses, good. The 3's got a less than or equal to sign. Does that get a bracket or a parentheses? Bracket, good. So my graph would look like that, which is A. Good job. A. Page 2. Page 2, we got another number line. This number line only has one thing to graph on it, though. On number 8, says to graph everything less than or equal to -2. So -2, -1, -3. Less than or equal to -2. Less than goes to the left, so it should be everything shaded to the left. Does the -2 get a bracket or parentheses if it has the bar underneath it? Bracket. So that looks like choice what? B as in booyah. Alright, on 9. These, like number 9, where they say always and never, sometimes make me nervous because it's kind of brave to say something always happens. It's kind of brave to say something never happens because then it's something, make you a liar if a weird occasion happens. But this is okay. This is safe here. The product of two numbers with different signs is negative. Always, never, sometimes. So if I had product of two numbers with different signs, is that going to can that ever be a positive 6?
I think it'd be sometimes true for the answer.
How? Tell me an example where it's not ever going to be a negative. Two numbers with different signs.
Wait.
Two numbers with different signs. I've already forgotten the wording of the question. Product of two numbers with different signs is negative. What you got, Michael?
Always negative.
It's going to always be a negative. No matter what, because it says two numbers, so you can only pick two. And they got to have different signs. So different signs, opposites always going to be negative.
Why is that?
I do not know why. But that, remember, positive times positive is positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a negative is
Negative.
and that's what that is.
Okay. Yeah, boy.
Alright. Yeah, you do. Number 10. We got
I was looking ahead.
negative square root of 1 over 169. It says find the square root. If it's not real, say so. So is that not real?
No, it's real.
It is real. There's a negative on it though. Where would the negative have to have been to make that not real?
Inside.
Good. It had to be underneath the radical, but outside the radical is okay. That just means we're going to stick a negative outside our answer. Now, when you take square root of a fraction, you do the square root of the top. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of the bottom. Square root of 169 is 13.
That's only one left. There's one we haven't made one
Good
left.
job, Brady. You're being smart about it. All right, 11 is a tricky one if you're not careful. So look at 11. It could trick us. It says we got 6 times 3x. It says use the indicated property, and indicated property is associative. Use the indicated property to write a new expression and then simplify it if possible. What does associative property do? Move the parentheses, right? So we said that first period and then they all immediately said A. No. What is in parentheses on A? 3x. It didn't change, did it? They moved the order. They didn't move the parentheses. That's commutative property, so it's not A. But then you start looking through the choices and you don't see anything else with parentheses. So they've already skipped ahead to what the last part of the question said to do. Simplify it if possible. So can you simplify that?
Yeah.
You bet your boots. 6 times 3x is 18x.
6 times 3 equals.
Which is what Montalvo said D, as in dynamite.
Dinosaur.
Now the next one we don't have to work out.
12.
Read look at the bracket.
Signs, yeah. Good. Good. Looking at number 12. And 12 is almost exactly like the one on the front page, number 7, except they changed the signs, the symbols on it. Okay, it says we're between 0 and 3 again, which is the same as number 7. We're between 0 and 3. So we just got to get the symbols on the right spot. Does 0 need a bracket or a parentheses? Bracket. What about 3? Parentheses, and what is it? C, as in a car.
Mr. Kaiser, please come to high school office to check out.
Bless you twice. That's the first one. Okay. 13. 13. We all right? Everybody kept up? 13. I've got 67 minus negative 18. Now tomorrow when you're taking the test, you're plugging along, you get to a question like this, you pick the calculator and plug it in, that's fine with me, I do not care at all. Okay, but what we talked about when we had this problem in class is that we remembered subtracting a negative is the same as changing that to an addition problem, which would make that 5, 7, 8, 85.
85.
Good job. Alright, same thing on number 14. You're chugging along and you just want to plug that in the calculator. It's alright. What we talked about in class when we had plus a negative, that's the same as subtracting 3.1 minus 1.4.
1.7.
And that is correct. B as in Boomland.
Yeah.
Last page. Okay, it gave us several points there on number 15, but the only ones that matter to us are B and F because the question says find the distance between the given points. The given points are B and F. So you look on B and you see it's at negative 5, and then you look on F and you see that it's on 2.5. Everybody okay on that? So how far is it between negative 5 and 2.5? Well, mathematically, you subtract them and take the absolute value. Negative 5 minus 2.5 would be negative 7.5. And what's the absolute value of negative 7.5?
7.5.
Positive 7.5. Which of those choices means positive 7.5? Would be D as in dynamite.
I got to shut that down.
Okay, I got you, sir. Should make sense to you. To get from negative 5 to 0, you would move 5. And then you got to keep going 2.5 more to get to 2.5. You got it. All right, 16. I didn't get to immediately eliminate any choices. I know a positive divided by a negative is negative, and all the choices had a negative. So I actually went to my calculator and did the division on 16. Anybody got it yet?
A.
It is A. Good job. Let me know if you need help on that.
Crap, don't get that.
Did you not get A?
What am I doing wrong? Not in the calculator, get some huge decimal.
Round to the nearest hundred. So it would be negative 2.1. Or negative, I'll put the decimal place. Negative 0.2. So this doesn't have 3 in front of the decimal. All those do. Okay. 17. 17.
Is it
Which-
distributed?
No. Which property justifies this statement? I've got in parentheses 4 plus 5 plus 8, and then that equals 5 plus 4 plus 8. So we've got to look from the left to the right side of the equal sign. What's different?
Switch 4 and 5.
Okay, good. Lexi's right. This one's got 4 plus 5. This one's got 5 plus 4. So the order of that addition changed. Which property means order changes? Commutative. Good job. That'd be D, commutative. All right, on 18. Got negative 7 times 6z plus m. This is the one Brady was talking about being distributed. We've got a negative 7 right outside the parentheses.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got to distribute that to everything inside. So that gets me negative 42m, or z, excuse me, negative 42z minus 7m. And that'd be it. Yep, B is in Boomland. Alright, 19, we got a little bit of work to do on it. It says A times B times C
Samantha Kaiser, please come to the high school office to check out.
plus B squared. And it tells you what your A, B, and your C are. So I'm going to plug those in. A is negative 5, so negative 5 times B, which is 16, times C, which is 7, plus B squared, which will be 16 squared. So that's what I'm actually computing and working out.
Negative 321.
And Kaylee is correct, it's negative 304. You need to make sure though, Kaylee's not going to be able to announce it to the class on the test tomorrow unless everybody gets an F. So make sure you all know how to type that in and get it if you need to, okay?
Wait. Make time in the calculator?
Uh-huh. How would you get that?
I'll type that in the calculator. But
Okay, can you do it? No.
I don't have to type A, B, C.
Look, Knobhead. A is negative 5. You type negative 5 times 16. You don't type the letters in, you
Oh, you
type.
should plug in?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Alright. Alright, on the last
Let
one.
me write that down.
Okay. On the last one, it says, write the set using interval notation. If I look at that on a number line, let's see, negative 7, we'll be looking here. It says x is less than or equal to that. Less than goes to the, ooh, I missed the line. Less than goes to the left, so we would be shaded all the way to the left. On negative 7, it said less than or equal to, so does that get a bracket or a parentheses? Bracket. Now to write that in interval notation, it's going to the left forever, which would be negative infinity. Infinities always get a parentheses. Remember, you can't touch it. Comma, negative 7, and on negative 7 we put a bracket. So that would be your interval notation, which is C. Alright, you will be able to use notes. If you want your study guide to be a part of your notes, it can be. Is there anything that you need that I went too fast on that you'd like to see again? Okay, I'm leaving it for you. Everybody good? We got like 25 minutes, so I can do anything you need me to do. Okay, I do not right now have the bubble sheet deal that we used last year to grade them underneath the Scantron. Alex, underneath the skin, you go. I do not have that right now, but because the program is not working yet. But it won't take me long to grade them anyway because they're all multiple choice, so it won't be that big of a deal. Okay.